situation that I know that will benefit all of us. And I'm glad we're all here. I want to also repeat, I know I did it the last time, Heather's bio. For me, it is really intriguing. So you listen to this bio and tell me what you think about it. So Heather Ann Ferry is the author of Victim to Victory, Healing Generational Abuse from Her Bloodline. Her book is a memo of how her childhood abuse affected every aspect of her adult life, from career, health, and relationships. Heather Ann spent a decade in New York City performing a Broadway and producing and writing off-Broadway shows on women's issues. How powerful. She holds a Guinness Book of World Records for 16 continuous turns on one foot in tap shoes. Incredible. Heather's diverse career in yoga, Pilates, and the theater stopped when she started to experience chronic pain. Western medicine wanted to label her and hand her pills for the rest of her life with no real solutions. That's what we do sometimes, unfortunately. Listening to her intuition led her down a unique path of ancient sciences. These sciences saved her life. Through the dark night of the soul, Heather Ann retrieved medical information from the Jesus Christ lineage. Anna, Mary, Mother Mary, Joseph, and Mary Magdalene. This is when her authentic healing abilities were birthed. She was able to heal her genetic red blood cell disorder, cancer, complex PTSD, and chronic pain. With every client she coaches and every talk she gives, she wants you to know anything is possible with the will and heart of I am. Isn't that powerful? So Heather, my friend, welcome again to our podcast. And we are all excited to have you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that introduction. And so I want to begin my presentation with explaining and sharing to the audience my connection with Mother Mary. A lot of times when I talk about this, people think of organized religion or a specific, and I want to be very clear that I'm actually not a part of any organized religion. I found through meditation, through fasting, through the dark night of the soul, a direct link to the Holy Family. And since then, I've been listening to them. And I really want to stress this as I share a little bit about listening and praying specifically to Mother Mary, who was a master at self-care, self-love, and how to reparent ourselves. And what I mean by that is if you grew up with parents who were traumatized, which a lot of us were, then you need to learn how to reparent yourself. So in my 25 years of training in generational and past life trauma, I found that denial to be one of the biggest diseases to the human species. Denial. If you were blessed to grow up with one or two parents, if you were blessed to sit at the dinner table, if you were blessed to even pray before your meal, what I'm about to share to you tonight is going to be difficult. It's going to be emotionally painful. It's going to be hard to face it, you know, that denial, to hear it, to really think that this exists, to process it, to digest it. And I get it. I get it. But I want you to think about this as I share bits and pieces of information that may be new to you, that may take time to process and digest. I want you to understand that what's happening right now on planet Earth is an awakening. And it's happening right here at this moment on this podcast. We, the people who are led by the Holy Family, are here to share with you the truth. And if you're capable of hearing it, it may save you or somebody else's life. Now, I'm going to probably get a little bit emotional during this talk. This talk probably would have never happened if I had not been praying to Mother Mary in August of 2021. I was praying pretty hard, and I was asking her, I really want to heal my father's issues. I had some wounds, some abandonment, betrayal issues. I really want to heal this dark masculine side that's still in me. What do I mean by that? I talk about your right side being masculine, your left side being feminine. When you're working with a coach and a healer, when you get pain on one side, it means something about either mommy or daddy or those psychological, emotional issues. Well, we've lived, all of us, this doesn't matter how old you are, we've lived our whole life with systems run by a few men who have lied and controlled our food, our water, our air. That's a fact. And even though we try to work up the corporate ladder, some of us, and pay our bills and do what, to provide for our families, we're still not a part of that small elite group that has monopolized us and not getting the right information. I'm here to tell you there's a grassroots movement happening, and it's happening through women, through mothers and grandmothers. They're coming to us with solutions to health and mental health problems. And this is what Mother Mary was guiding me towards. So as I was discussing the subject matter of my father and my masculine issues, I heard her voice say, "You lack nutrition." Okay, I'm a vegan. I think I'm pretty healthy, but I'm lacking nutrition. I listened to that voice. I didn't ignore it. I didn't wait 5 months to maybe pay attention to it, to get sick maybe, and then pay attention to it. I was like, okay, I need to address this. I thought I was doing some things right. I was going to the health store. I was spending a lot of money on supplements and protein powder shakes. And then she said a name. Now, I'm a mystic healer. If you read my book, go on my website, there's a lot of mystic stuff in my life, and it's a beautiful thing. I think everybody can have that if they choose it, but it's the unknown, so it can be scary. It's the unknown. You don't read it in a textbook. When I was sick and dying, I didn't cover up the pain. I didn't know if I was going to live, but I trusted the Holy Family through the pain. And that's something that we have to learn to do again. We have to learn to hold pain, to feel pain as ourselves, as a family unit, which I'm doing right now. My family is in pain right now. My dad is extremely sick. My brother is sick. My mom is not well. And so I've healed my generational lineage, and now I'm giving them the toolkit to try to heal their selves. So what I'm talking tonight comes from practice. What I'm sharing with you is not something out of a book. It's something that I'm facing right now in my life. So with that said, I heard this voice, Jason. I had been following this guy, not on social media much, but I was following and drawn to this guy in Facebook, partly because he was crying and he was talking about emotional pain and trauma. And I don't see that much online. And so I was drawn to it. I didn't agree with everything he had to say, but I really thought he was a brave soul to be able to share some of that stuff when nobody else was. And he was working for this company, and he was talking and showing a lot of testimonies about nutrition and gut health. And so I figured this is what Mother Mary wants me to do. Now, I want to tell you, I know 100 health coaches. I know a ton of nutritionists all over the world. I have people send me products all day long because of my reputation and my background. So I listened exactly to what Mother Mary wanted me to do. Okay? Because it's not just about praying for somebody to be healed sometimes. It's about praying about what are the solutions. And I'm facing it right now in my family system. So I talked to Jason. I ordered some products. And I'm really a skeptic because I've had these products. I'm like, they're nothing different. They're the same as everything else. I get them 3 days later. I'm like, no, they're not the same as everything else. There's something different here. I'm feeling more awake. I'm not in a fog anymore. I didn't even realize I was in a fog. And then I pulled out the products that I don't use much. I buy them, they're expensive, they sit there. I take them for a few times, and you know why I don't continue to take them? Is because intuitively, my soul body knows they're toxic. But my analytical mind is too busy because I'm working and doing this and that to process that. See, when we're workaholics or too busy and can't sit still and can't be silent, we can't hear God. So I take, I go and I take my other protein shake. It just as an experiment, and I got bloated. And I got sick, like sort of tired-ish, sluggish. And I was like, that is weird. And then as I learned through this tribe around the world, as I learned about the CEO, which I'm going to share with you today, as I learned about the products, I learned that they're just not like everything else. And I feel very blessed because I am using them on my family's system right now, except for my dad, because he's in a hospital. I'm going to talk to you about that. But I plan on using them. And so this isn't something like, I don't know how to put this. This is the real deal. I mean, it's about finding the right things that can help you heal and really wake up. And pretty much, I want to say a faster time. If I had this in my dark night of the soul, I have to believe I might have healed my gut faster, which would have helped my brain damage. So that's what I'm utilizing with my trauma clients right now. And I wanted to set the stage. I didn't want to just talk about one health product or the gut, because you can learn all about that later. I want you to understand about prayer, about listening, about connecting and following through, even if it's scary. So I'm going to pull up my presentation now, just a little presentation. And I will tell you this, at the end, I'm going to give you a lot of different options as far as the next bit of information, because I come from, as a teacher, I taught at 3 universities. So I know that I can't teach you 3 hours of science tonight. I'm just giving you the cliff notes. If you want clinical research, I got it. If you want another PowerPoint that's really got the statistics of disease increase in all the diseases in this country of the United States, I got it. I got the woman for you. I got the resources. But right now, I'm just going to share my personal experience of how Mother Mary is guiding me. The food issues in my family do lead to trauma because we eat sugar to hide our pain, our emotional pain and wounds. Our food issues deal with mother, my dad and his mom, my mom and her mom, me and my mom, my brother and his, mom. So this is coming into a full circle for us. And so one little thing can make a huge difference. Now we're going to find it. Okay. Be patient with me. One thing about being a mystic, we are not so good at technology, but we try. So the topic tonight is the toxin that came to dinner. It's a powerful statement. I didn't make it up. This is the CEO that I'm going to talk about later. And you can definitely get a copy of this book. I highly recommend it. And this talk is inspired by my father, who is very, very sick. Not sure if he's going to come through or not. Yeah, so I wanted to start there. Everything is connected. Until man duplicates a blade of grass, nature can laugh at his so-called scientific knowledge. Remedies from chemicals will never stand in favor compared with the products of nature. Living cell of the plant, the final result of the rays of the mother of all life. This is a really important message because the Holy Family did not use chemicals to heal. I need you to really sit with that tonight and the rest of the week and look at how many chemicals you're consuming that you don't even know that you're consuming. Did you know your body is a temple from God? I didn't for a long time with my trauma. When you eat sugar, when you eat junk food, it's really a slow suicide. You don't have a respect and a love for your body. And so that's one of the things I teach in my coaching. I teach you how to love your body again and respect it and understand that it actually knows how to heal if you give it the right stuff. And we're not being taught this anymore. And so what I'm sharing with you today isn't a fad, it's not a diet, it's not a pill. This is a transformation into higher consciousness so that you can do what I do and hear Mother Mary, Jesus Christ, Joseph, whoever you want, and be taught until you have their teachings. We must empower ourselves and be advocates for our own health. When I was explaining this to my mother today, my mother and my father were out of my life for many years, unfortunately. And they've come back into my life 2 years ago, and it's been a very full healing and blessing. The timing was right. Mother Mary initiated that as well. Sometimes we do have to step away from certain loved ones. Sometimes there's another plan that we can't control. So I've been teaching my mother, because my mother actually has a channel to Mother Mary too. She was praying for Mother Mary to bring me back into her life. So there's this whole connection here. You know, I was telling my mother today that you've lived in your programming through television, through what you know, that you go to a hospital and you surrender your body to them. And knowing the stats that I know and the research and the doctors that I talk to who have left the system, thousands of them, because of corruption, because of lies, we can no longer just surrender our bodies to a system that's failing. And that's a hard reality. That's a scary reality. And that scares my mom. And we talked about that today. I told her about the fear of when I was sick and I was drinking Kangen water and I was juicing and I was doing brain work. And at some point I was getting sicker and sicker. And I thought, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not going to get out of this. It was scary. I had no one around me, but I knew the system only had pills and labels. I didn't want to be on drugs. I didn't want to be on chemicals the rest of my life. I deserved better. I knew that in my soul. So I stuck with it. And here I am, fully healed of everything, inside and out. My family sees it. That's why they're sponges right now. Every family has one person who's the pioneer of that family system, who just steps out of the box and starts to heal on a cellular, soulful level. I almost feel like you made this contract with God right now on this planet to do that. And as you do that, you do start to heal your biological family, whether they're aware of it or not. You do heal this planet where we can come back to God consciousness, where we can come back to not funding or supporting the companies that are lying to us. And that will be in the second PowerPoint that you can get through my email. The companies, the corruption of lies, the lack of labeling, and putting poisons in our water and food. It stops here. And so we have to be advocates now, every single one of us. And if you have loved ones that don't know how, you're going to eventually teach them how. This, I'm teaching you how. Toxins exist all around us. And it's a constant threat to our bodies right now. And it's disruptive on a cellular level. New studies show that record levels of glyphosate exist in our food and also in our water, in the air, and we breathe. And I'm going to tell you, I didn't know this word until Mother Mary guided me to Purium and into this collective higher conscious tribe. I had no idea of this. This was news to me. I didn't know this was in our water. I knew about water. I knew about deadly chemicals and fluoride, and I know you have to have a filtration system. I didn't know this was in our water. So I am learning. It's never ending when you go within. By the way, when you realize at the end of this talk what's going on, the solutions are actually simple. It's just finding the right solutions. And Zita knows this because she's on Kangen water and she is with Purium. She knows the food and the water connection. She's a part of that. Amanda's a part of that. Johannes is a part of that. We build our tribe. We spread it. We take back our land. We take back our earth in the light. So my dad's a diabetic. And what happened is in the fall, I could see both of my parents' health wasn't, I wouldn't say it was great. They were in denial. You know that denial. We've all had that denial. I'm great, but I can't remember where I put my keys. I'm great, but I'm not sleeping well. I'm great, but I'm not going to the bathroom on a regular basis. I don't have regular bowel movement. I'm great. I work with family units, and sometimes there's a family member that's actually borderline, a lot of health issues, but they're scared and embarrassed, and then everybody's in denial. This is a delicate subject matter. You know, health is a delicate subject matter. So I was pushing my dad's buttons. He was not listening to me. My mom was taking stuff in, but he wasn't listening to me. That was not, my dad's personality was not himself. And I started to wonder if he had parasites, which is very common in diabetes, which I've learned through Purium. I wondered, and parasites change your personality. I'm now learning that a lot of mental illness is due to the toxins in our food and water. You change them, you change the person, you change the addictions. So my dad was just not, he was resistant, and it was hard, it was painful. And I'm sure you can experience that on some level with your family members. You want them to do meditation or you want them to do a breathing class and they won't. So what happened is in late December, my mother got sick. She got pneumonia. And my mother, God bless her, but she's not in good health as far as my standards, and my standards are high. So maybe on the average American, with the doctors, they think she's healthy. I don't think she's healthy. So she gets pneumonia, and I'm worried about it because pneumonia to me is much more serious than a virus. And so I immediately brought over 2 Japanese medical devices. One was the water to drink, a gallon, and one was a biomat from Japan. And when I mentioned biomat, I'm going to say it one more time. Don't Google. Don't buy the cheapest biomat on the product. There's a reason and a science of why I work with certain tools and certain companies. And if you're just going to buy a regular biomat, it may be awful. It may be connected to Wi-Fi and give you cancer. This biomat has medical research. It works. So I want to stress that. So then I have her lay on it the whole night. She's sweating because it pulls out toxins, it pulls out chemicals. In 2 days, she was better. This has never happened. She has thalassemia still. She has all these health issues. Now, I think she was processing, but I don't think she realized how big of a deal that was. Christmas goes, New Year starts. I come over to my house. I can see my dad sitting in pain. He's not okay. He's not verbalizing what's wrong. I want to help him. I don't know what to do. I get out the door and I think, should I come back with those items? And Mother Mary says, no. That's a hard call. But I went home, and the next day he was sent to the emergency room. They had no idea. His blood sugar was all over the place, what was going on. They thought he was going to go into heart surgery the next day. And now my mom's scared that the partner of her that she's known since high school is going to leave. And I'm feeling a lot of emotions because I prayed to Mother Mary in August that I wanted to heal my father's issues. And so I felt guilty because I was hard on him. I was angry at him for not stepping up with his health. And I felt helpless. And then I had this memory come up right away. It was like 17 years ago. It was the first time I walked into my Reiki master's room, teacher's room. I was just a mess. So much trauma and brain damage, clueless of what healing was. I had no clue how long the journey would be to heal. And I'm sitting there and she says, your dad's already in the room. And I remembered that. And I got the message from Mother Mary to work with my dad telepathically, which is actually the best way I work as well. All my clients come to me telepathically. I don't really need to post on social media. I know God's going to lead me to my clients. So I started to talk to my dad, very much visualizing him telepathically and working out my issues with him and having a conversation with him telepathically. To the point then I was remembering the good times, and I was remembering the good qualities and the love. And I forgave him for the abandonment and the betrayal and the decisions that he made. And then I asked him if I could do psychic surgery on him. I've had many miracle healings, and there's a lot of videos and possibly another book that needs to come out with that. A lot of people, I don't even know half of the healings I've had, some from evangelists too. And so I did psychic surgery for an hour and a half, which was intense. I was crying, I was shaking. And I didn't know, you still, for me, I try to stay humble. I never know if something's working or what's going on. But the next day, I was able to go into the intensive care unit that evening. And I wanted to see my dad's eyes, because you can tell when somebody's cleaning toxins and trauma from their eyes. If you looked at my eyes 10 years ago, they would have been dark and black. Now they're not. So your eyes tell me a lot about your health. Your tongue also. So I wanted to see his eyes. And he was really, really tired, but he would open his eyes and there was that beautiful light blue that I haven't seen since childhood. Light blue. That means he had a healing. And he's exhausted because psychic surgery is exhausting. When you have surgery from the Holy Family, you're going to need to sleep a long time. You're not going to heal and bounce back, and nobody knows he's had this. So I'm living in 3D world. And so I felt calm. I prayed. I poured love in him. My brother came in. It was a beautiful thing. And I thought, if he leaves, I'm good. Like, I'm good. But no, I think my father has a plan to heal all of us, whether he goes or not. He's waking up the family. That's one thing he's doing. So he starts to get better. And as he gets better, they're expecting him to eat this. This is all poison. There is nothing on his plate that isn't toxic. And I'm sitting here because he doesn't want to eat it. His belly hurts from all the antibiotics, all the toxins. He's got gut health issues now from all his life of being over medicated and eating foods that some of them he thought was healthy. Cheerios. Cheerios has the highest glyphosate. I ate Cheerios. I thought I was doing myself some good. That commercial, all the athletes eating Cheerios. We follow the television. The television is lying to us. These big corporations are lying to us. And I'm telling you what, I am done, and the people in my community are done, and we are taking back our health. One person at a time, one family at a time. I started to lose it. I wanted to bring in my stuff, and I had some resistance from a family member that's medical trained, and I was so angry. But my mom didn't have any education in this. So what is she supposed to believe? So as the days go on, I'm educating my mom. I'm screaming, stop this. And there's a long process that goes through of ups and downs, of him getting out of the hospital into a senior rehab, back into the hospital right now. And it's all divine. It's all the Holy Family's way of waking my family up, whether my father lives or not. I am going to scream at the top of my lungs for the rest of my life about this food glyphosate issue and the water. I will go, it's a done deal. And so I'm going to move on. This is in the hospitals. This is why people go to the hospitals. And it's in the hospitals. We've lost our common sense here. I'm supposed to take these people seriously, that they're going to heal my dad. Now, I know there's some good things about ER. I get it. And there's some great things about surgery. But when it comes to chronic disease, look at the stats. We've failed. We have failed. This is an embarrassment to the United States. This is big money, by the way. Same deal, big money. This is cancer. This is so bad for you. It's shocking to me. Why don't we have Kangen water medical devices that are in Japanese hospitals in our hospitals here? Oh, we can't mention that. No, heaven forbid we mention that. Once again, I have tons of research. I'm just giving you a few examples tonight. Glyphosate. They don't label it, by the way. We're fighting it. Do you have a compromised gut? Do you know anybody who has these issues? Brain fog, headaches, depression. My dad had constipation. He has stomach pain now. Go figure. My mom has weight gain. Both of them have joint pain. I think both of them have anxiety. Do you know anybody that has any of this stuff? It's related to the gut. And there are a ton of products out there. That's what's scary too, is if you're not led by the right one, you're just going in circles. So I feel for you if you're somebody who's tried a few and you're a skeptic, I get it. But just stick with me, because there's other information I can give you after this to help you make a conscious decision about how to move forward. What is glyphosate? I didn't know what it was. It's a toxic herbicide that's been found in at least 75% of what we eat. It is one of the most used herbicides across agriculture. It's in our soil, it's in our food, and it's sprayed on top of it. Why should you care? The World Health Organization classifies glyphosate as a carcinogen to humans. Go figure. It cannot be washed off or removed through cooking. And we wonder why cancer has been increasing and increasing. Look at the stats. They don't lie. Boy, we have a lot of money to make big buildings, but we're not putting in anything inside to solve the internal issue. This is what they spray. Look at how they're dressed. Does that kind of give you an inkling of maybe this is not something we should be consuming? Common sense, maybe, the problem. Just a couple examples. It's scary when you really, and I have another PowerPoint I can send you through email. It's a much more detailed PowerPoint for my science lovers. But just look at these. I eat all of these. You know, I mean, it's in it. It's in everything. And this is what happens. There is a brain-gut connection. I'm sure if you're in the health or you've studied the health field, you've heard it. 70% of your immune system is about this. So why haven't we heard about this in the last 2 years if they care so much about our health? Why haven't we heard about glyphosate? So it's really simple to see when you balance this out, how it's going to affect you. Look at all these issues. My dad has diabetes too. All these issues. Do you know anybody that has these issues? Because if you know somebody that has one of these issues, you're going to want to learn about how to heal glyphosate, how to take it out of your system. Step 1, solution. Eat organic. That's it. No non-GMO foods. Look at these. Just look at them. Read them over right now. Those are the top GMO crops to avoid. You have to avoid these at all costs. Step 2, Biomedic. We have a supplement. This was a game changer for me. My brother ordered, I'm going to show you in a minute what he ordered. My mom's going on it tomorrow. Okay, so this isn't something that I'm just sharing because I'm in this business. I didn't want to be in this business. I didn't ask for a second business. I got in this business because Mother Mary has a mission. And when she tells me to do something, I'm going to do it. So clinical trials have shown 74% reduction from this Biomedics. We have clinical research, and you can email me at youmatter108@gmail.com. And this is what it does. It's flushing out those harmful, it's getting you good bacteria. 74% changed my health. I no longer had a big belly. Mental fog was gone. Energy was great. So I had an experience myself, kills those parasites. And this is what it comes in. If you order it, you can order it just on its own. We have specials on our website. So I just ordered 3, buy 1 free. It has a gold standard detox certification. It's the only one that does. And there's a discount. And many of us have that discount code. Zita has a discount code. Johannes has a discount code. I have a discount code. Get to somebody that you connect with, that you relate to, that you bond with. David. David is the one that wrote the book, The Toxin That Came Home to Dinner. If you order the Biomedic, you'll get a copy of that through ebook, audio. I researched this guy, and I'm going to tell you why. I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I come from family-owned businesses. I know corruption. I wanted to know the background of the CEO of the products that I was consuming. Do you know the products that you're consuming? Go to your cupboard, grab your supplements. Do you know the CEO? Because I get to talk to him on Friday, and I'm going to share how you can listen on that if you want. He's the owner of Visionary. This company's been around 27 years. It's grassroots. The land is in Utah. It's been secured. There's nothing around it for miles and miles. So it's not just the land is secured. It's that it's not exposed to other cities or chemicals anywhere. And he spent $500,000 on a wind technology. That's why when your product comes to the door, it's 98% organic superfoods. And you feel it. And you start to see people change. They anti-age. They feel younger. He also has another book, The Greens Food Bible. He has an incredible story that you can learn about from me. Amy's the second person. This is his business partner. She's the founder of the Million Mom Movement, which is huge. It meets Fridays from 2 to 3. They do have a YouTube channel. And that's where I learn a lot about healing, what they're doing with their children, what they're doing with their grandmas, how they're using this and that, and this formula worked, and I'm going to use that formula. And this to me is, I changed my work schedule with Amanda, who's on this call on Friday, to sit in on these calls. That's how important the Million Mom Movement is. And this Friday, David, the CEO, will be on for you to ask questions. So if you want to be there or know about it, email me. And last, if you want a real process of transformation, we recommend this process. And this may look overwhelming to you, but let me show you something. It's not. The company is so smart because they want you to succeed. I'm showing you the website right now. So we have different programs, but this program in particular. First of all, I want to tell you one thing about the website. A lot of supplement websites don't show you what's actually in the product. And I think you should be really wary of that. So you really need to see, what are the ingredients? So I can go through each product and go through the label and see the label. I think you need to be really, really wary if you're not seeing the whole label or what's in the product. But what they do is they give you a chart, and Zita probably could tell you that, and they tell you a schedule. And so it's really simple. And you can do the schedule or you can modify it to where you're at. But really, this and this item is going to start to detox those parasites and clean up your gut. This is going to give you the best green drink nutrition ever. Super aminos are protein, vegan protein that the best athletes are using and I'm using. My dad needs this right now in the hospital to clean up his gut, which he's not getting, and he needs this to not lose his muscle. This has been used for people who are in comas, people who are in cancer, who are very sick. You don't have to lose your muscle while you're resting. So if you have questions, you can obviously contact me, but this is sort of just an introduction to a really big subject matter. I also just want to mention one more thing. I know it took a long time tonight, but I want to mention that if you want to see a 40-minute PowerPoint that's more elaborate on the details of companies and health stats and glyphosate, I have it. It's with a mother, Jody Parker from the Million Mom Movement. And you just need to email me. And so thank you so much for letting me share this. This is the beginning of me sharing this. So Zita, I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Heather, for sharing from the heart, sharing from experience, sharing from who you are and what you've been called to do in our world. It is a challenge when we all have unique calls that no other person has except you. And if we are in a world like the one we're in right now, it's a huge issue. We, the people who are, like Heather rightly put it, who are beginning to awaken to the truth and reality of who we are, sometimes we are labeled as the ones that are not right in the head. And that's my experience. And I know for those of us who are awakening, we're going to even face more. People are going to label us. Just so you know that this is a journey that we have to be intentional about. And Heather has given us sharing from her own experience. She has demonstrated that this is true, this is real, and we must commit to it. She has done this for years and years and years. So she's the real model for what we are about to really take the lead, because we have to take that lead. We must be courageous. And I know this is the call for every single woman who wants to make a difference in their life. It is a huge challenge, but I'm glad it's a good and wonderful challenge, because we've been given that opportunity to represent who we are, to represent the truth in this world. Heather, I can't thank you enough for all this information. Like you rightly put it, you can't find this information on the website. No, you cannot. When people go to the hospitals, we go there to be healed. But guess what? If you're not careful, you won't come out alive all the same. So let's just reflect on this whole deep information that I know if we take it to heart and practice even a fraction of it, it had the ability to turn our life around. I know we've taken a little bit of time to explain this, but this is very critical. This is essential for who we are, for us, for our families, for our community, for the nation, and of course, for our global community. And all the time, I'm always calling women. I'm nudging all of us. We've been given this light. Let it not quench right in front of us. Yes, Mother Mary has a lot to offer the world, but are we listening? Are we even ready? Are we even open to it? So has anybody anything to add or questions? I know this is a mouthful. This is a lot to take in a short period of time, but if anyone is brave enough, you have something you want to ask Heather, please go ahead and ask your questions or make your comments.
I'm bringing the gentleman back.
Yes, please do. I forgot them now. I'm sorry.
That's perfectly okay.
Are they coming?
Yeah. Are they with us?
Amanda, do you have any thoughts?
It was very nice to hear you speak on all of that, because we've never really actually got to dive in specifics on a lot of stuff. But I want to vouch for you, Heather. Since I've started working with you, things have really brightened up in my world. Not always great brighten up, but it's definitely still better than where I was before, between getting on the product and just really opening my mind to the spiritual world. I was always kind of a little spiritual, but I definitely become a lot more spiritual, being involved with you. I didn't realize how good it could be. And the products alone, being on the products, are amazing. I know a difference if I try to eat something that I, used to enjoy, and then I'm like regretting it with not even in an hour because I got stomach pains or stomach cramps or something from it. So it's like, at this point, I don't even care to go back to anything. So, and the work, doing the healing work is really what we all need to be doing, looking within ourselves, and because we really can heal ourselves. We don't need a doctor. So the experience has been great. Thank you, Heather.
Oh, it's an honor to teach you. I mean, it's been a challenge, but it's been an honor because you've stuck with it. And I can see, I see the leader. So I'm prepping a leader.
I'm still having trouble with that vision, but
I know, because
I
we were
have faith.
it's interesting. She says, and I'm sure Zita can relate to this, as we heal our traumas, we weren't raised to think we could be leaders. We weren't, it wasn't even in anybody's vocabulary. So it's really about healing the traumas. So, because I see a powerhouse, I see a woman that's strong, and so it's just reminding, you know, I want thousands of me, 10 times better than me, 10 times, shoot them out there. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. But yeah, we've been repressed in this society in many, many ways. And it's done. The time's over. And like Zita says, we probably don't even know what to do with Mother Mary, or even take in her information, because we've all kind of had trauma within the feminine, you know, repression of the feminine, and men too, by the way. I mean, so yeah, great.
And Amanda, just so you know, by even working on yourself, that's leadership right there. Because so just so you know, working on yourself and taking that initiative to reclaim who you are, that's enough leadership. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I was just talking to Kat a few weeks ago when and I hope, Kat, you're going to be able to share a little bit about the February 22nd event. We are talking about PTSD and what that does to people, especially the veterans. And when I think of women veterans, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, we are talking about what women go through ordinarily. Talk of a woman who is a veteran, or who was a veteran. Can you imagine what she went through? Can you imagine? And I feel whenever I come across situations like this and people like, I'm like, I feel like bringing all I have to just say here. I was saying to Kat, you know, the toxins that are in our water. So you're talking about people having PS. Honestly, what the kind of toxins women put into their body is enough to make all of us crazy. I'm telling you. So trying to change what we eat, trying to change our water. And you, Amanda, you were talking about how, you know, the healing you've gotten through Heather. That transformation I've experienced too. And it was through Heather, Joannes and Heather. We used like about how many months ago, not even up to 6 months, to transform my life through realization of how toxic my body got to. I started with water, and I'm like, water? And then the whole water unfolded right in front of me. And I can't wait to share it with the rest of the women to show them how they can heal. And now we got this little tribe, this thriving tribe. We can't stop. And sky it's not even the limit. So I'm just gonna wait. Let me not take the whole time. I'm waiting for other people to comment. Anyone want to say something? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. What Heather Ann, thank you so much for your enthusiasm, and you're telling the truth, and everybody knows that without any doubt, because it is your experience that has shown you what is true and what is not. and it comes through, even through the screen. So thank you for that. What came to mind for me on my journey is that I did not know what I did not know. And having been a very stubborn Dutchman, I had to try everything else in the world, which I did till I was about 65, 66, to finally acknowledge that I didn't know how to create an authentic life that I knew was in me. And I was divinely led to Heather Ann, and we've gone through a wonderful, painful, frustrating, and healing journey. Having come out at the other end, like feeling I'm a sovereign man who's living his life the best way he can and open to learn, and without the water, and then slowly improving my diet to the point that now I'm 99.9% vegan. My life is transformed to something that I didn't even know existed till I couldn't even imagine a year ago that my life would look like this. I recognize what my body needs and what it doesn't need. And I love what you said, Heather Ann, about your gut feeling about taking a supplement you buy in the store and going like, but I don't want to take this. I should, but I don't want to. And that's exactly right. When there is something wrong with it, your gut will tell you. So now I'm with the Purium too, and there is nothing better than that. I have the little book. I've had it for a couple of years, and occasionally I picked it up. It's brilliant. The man is a visionary and a real man who took action to make things happen. And it is a beautiful example of a real man. And you girls need real men to back you up, because until now it has been little boys that you have been taking care of, whether you know it or not. I see it everywhere now. It's disgusting, really. So that's my little bit.
Thank you so much, Johannes, for that little bit, but really loaded with information and wisdom. So thank you. Anyone else? Do you have something to say?
Yeah, well, I'll just respond to what you led into before with 222 to Save 22, responding to our veterans that were losing to suicide. And, kind of as I do what I can to participate in this, group response, all hands on deck initiative to do something, because the idea of the 22 number is a decade-old statistic we learned about. Wow, we're losing a lot of veterans out there, and now it's grown 150% of what it was before. So this idea that you bring out, Heather, about denial, it's multifaceted. I mean, you made a definite point in one part of our life, but there's an all-out social work crisis. The largest healthcare crisis known to humankind is social isolation. So we're wondering why we're having difficulty disseminating wisdom. It's because people are kept to themselves. But with 2-22 to save22.com, it's a February 22nd event. And, as I tackle the issue, Zita and I met through the Happy Neighborhood Project. The happiest place on earth for business people. Wow, what a concept, eh? And so it's a worldwide response. And so we have a lot of business people. And so this takes creativity. We had Denise Vargas, who, kind of helped me with creating this border and illustrating what I do a little bit better. but Live Creatively Inc. And so the idea of Live Creatively, and she talks about, you know, when she hears around her this idea of I can't, she tries to help us go from the I can't to the how can I? How can I? And so there is this experience about how we empower ourselves and empower each other, empower others. And so on the topic of suicide, I feel since nobody on earth has the answer, or it hasn't gone to the forefront to actually make a difference to all of these veterans to get the number to go down to 0, we have to consider everything. And so you brought up some, you know, emotional, psychological, anxiety, depression, things that could be the cascading dominoes to push. You know, there's all this negative energy that just pushes us. And we have to create this resistance that's created from all this denial you speak to, Heather. And so I applaud you greatly that without even knowing that there was this little ulterior motive of stuff going on in the next month, you did a lot of justice for a life or death situation of suicide ideation. You're talking life or death, just killing ourselves by what goes in the gullet. But there's other things in terms of this brain. So all the information you just gave us, the more we can keep our brains to its fullest capacity when we have challenges like disease of suicide ideation, you know, the thing that we know is that if the pH levels of our bodies are at the right alkaline level and we remove the acidity of our bodies, we wouldn't have disease. So if everybody wanting to go to suicide ideation, I would propose that if they only did what you do, Heather, if everybody on earth would just do what you're doing, Heather, we wouldn't have any suicide.
Well, I want to pipe in because, you know, I come from PTSD, severe complex PTSD. I was choked over and over again from age 8 to 9. So I know a lot about, you know, nightmares and detoxing trauma. So suicide, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it is as simple as Kangen water. It is as simple as starting to take a few supplements, but it's, so my family's doing, my brother, my mom are doing, well, my mom tomorrow, we're doing brain work. We're doing PTSD brain protocol. So my dad started that years ago. He actually was the one who brought Kundalini yoga to me, and then he didn't do it anymore. So yeah, suicide is partly those demons. Sometimes those thoughts are not your thoughts, they're parasites. That's what I learned in the last 4 or 5 months, because in the tribe I'm listening to a lot of people who are bipolar who got off 5 meds. I'm listening to a lot of people who are addicts that I got. So there is a connection between, I think the poisons in our food and water are really at they're high now. They're playing big now, and they're trying to take us out, the darkness. So that is a big component. In 30 days of doing programs, and for nonprofits, they need to get on their grant writing, man. They need to get on your grant writing and get the medical device in. And I mean, that should be doable. I just don't. So, but yeah, so it's that, and then it is specific. So the brain work I have has science to it. It's not just a meditation you found on YouTube. It has real science. And that's what they need. That's what the veterans need too. My grandfather was a veteran. I know a lot about that process. And yeah, so I hear you. I'm glad that I prepped it for next month.
Yeah, I think the work that we need for ourselves got to be holistic. You know, so it's not just, you know, do this and the other. No, you have to look at it. And when you say, Heather, that the whole thing is really escalating right now, that's because all these dark forces are kind of increasing, and they know that it is time for them to quit. And so they're using the last energy they have to see how they can really destroy the world as much as they can, bringing all kinds of chemicals, all this electrical stuff, and bring everything. There's that war. There is the war. And like Kurt said, the social isolation is another weapon they're using. You know, they want to like cut people out from one another, including women and their babies.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Make sure that
Absolutely.
women become so workaholics that they have no time for their children. That's a planned deal. They know what they're doing.
Oh, they
And
do.
once you
Even,
destroy,
yeah, even the
yeah, go ahead.
psychology of devaluing a mother and understanding
Mhm.
the value of that job, financially, the value of that job. I mean, yeah, but the tides are turning. It's right here. We're all a part of it, and it's one step. It's about the steps. It's
Yes.
about building the foundation, and that's what I'm all about. You build this, even with the products I talk about. Even if you do one, I had a client was so skeptic because she tried something. She did one, and then she did two. Okay, that's great. You feel safe. You're feeling a connection. You feel okay with it? Is it working for you? Because if it's not working for you, don't do it. But you want to meet people where they're at, you know? And yeah, so it's good.
This is really awesome. And thank you so much for coming. Now, next week, I'm hoping that we all gather as well because we have another powerful presenter, Denise Vegas. She is going to talk to us next week, Tuesday, about self-love. As we all know, February is the month of love. So we every month actually should be a month of love, but February is national and internationally recognized as a month of love. So how do we self-love? You got to start with me because you don't give what you don't have. So let's come listen to Denise, come prepared to ask more questions, to listen to this wonderful presenter. And I know that all of us will really enjoy it as we have really enjoyed this powerful presentation from Heather. And I know Heather is going to be coming, as I said, she's going to be coming from time to time. Like we said, it's one step at a time. So we're going to really take this whole journey and enjoy the journey. That's what is more important, because rushing to the destination is not really what it's all about. It's about enjoying the journey together, because we know together we can. Thank you all for coming. And if nobody has any more questions, I want to wrap it up. And we are always glad to those who are sponsoring these programs. Like I said, this podcast is brought to you by Word of Ability Podcast in collaboration with Transform You Network. So thank you all for coming, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Excellent show. Still hanging on with YouTube. Bye, YouTube audience. Thanks for joining. Still got the recording going.
Yes.